Ain't this what they been waiting for? You ready? I used to pray for times like this, to rhyme like this, so I had to grind like that, to shine like this. In a matter of time I spent on some locked up in the back of the paddy wagon, cuffs locked on wrist. See my dreams unfold, nightmares come true. It was time to marry the game, and I said, yeah, I do. If you want it, you gotta see it with a clear eye view. Got shorty, she tryin' bless me like I said I chew, like a sneeze. Please for them trick and squeeze, I'm getting cream. Never let them get in between of what we started. Look, but I'm lying hearted. They love me when I was stuck and they hated when I departed. I go and get it regardless. Draw it like I'm an artist, no crawling. Went straight to walking with foreigns in my garages are foreign. Menaging, sucking and swallowing anything for $1. They tell me get him, I got him. I did it without an album. I did it with Mariah. Lil' I'm on fire, icy as a hockey ring, Philly flyer. When I bought the Rolls Royce, they thought it was lease. Then I bought that new Ferrari, hey to rest in peace. Hey to rest in peace to the parking lot. Phantom so big, can't even fit in the parking spot. You ain't talking about my then what you talking about? Gangsters move in silence, and I don't talk a lot.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Spotlight 39. It's Rob Odie. That's my guy, Brandon Howard. This is Spotlight 39 Live. We do this thing every Wednesday, 8 p.m. So make sure you do a couple of things. First and foremost, subscribe if you aren't already. Follow my guy, Brandon, on all social media. Obviously, follow Spotlight 39 if you don't. So now that that's out the way, man. Brandon, how you feeling? You feeling all right?
Yeah, feeling pretty good. Season's going pretty well so far. Alabama Texas game was last week, so that was pretty exciting. I mean, despite the result, and then getting to watch some football and be in person. You can't complain too much about that. So
Yeah, man. So, what was your in person like? Where'd we end up? I know you don't typically throw it out there. Sometimes we get lucky and you bless us, but where did you end up blessing the sidelines this week?
geez, oh yeah, I went to May Jemison and Fort Payne. That got out of hand pretty quickly. But Hezekiah Harris, he was just named, I think, a top 30 player in the country or something like that. And
Okay.
then I followed that up with it's crazy. Oh, that I can't remember these games. But Meridian versus Starkville. Meridian has Daniel Hill, top 250 player, and then Starkville has Illinois commit Trey Petty, uh, Mississippi State commit Braylon Burnside, and like a slew of other guys as well. So, definitely was an exciting weekend for me. And then the Bama game on Saturday. So it was pretty packed, but things just continue to step up week by week for me personally.
Heck yeah, man. Was there and just kind of throwing you on the spot, but was there any young man that kind of stood out that maybe you didn't know who they were, that maybe had that aha moment? It was like, man, that young man can ball. What's his name?
I wish they told me his name. And I think I only got the nickname. I think it's like Pimp or something. Weirdly enough, but
Okay.
Meridian has a 2025 running back slash athlete, probably running back. But he had 2 touchdowns against Starkville. I mean,
Okay.
Danny Hill. I don't even know if he had one that night, and he's like the star of the show. But the kid number 11, if you go look at him on Max Preps, I mean, or even Huddle, he can move. He was quick. Definitely had some speed to him, but I think this was his first year in varsity, so I took his headshot pretty quickly and just said, there's a good chance that you're going to be picking up some offers pretty soon. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely
Good
stood out to
deal,
me.
man. So I'll kind of recap mine, right? Mine was a little less crowded for once. I only hit up one game this week, but that one game, it was, even though it was in Virginia, it was still took me about 5 hours to get there in traffic for the start of the game, and then another 3.5 to get home. So it was a trip nonetheless, but it was a great one. We had Maury out of the 757, Norfolk, Virginia, uh, playing Highland Springs out of Richmond. Highland Springs is probably a program that more people are aware of, but Maury is definitely a program within the state that is making a lot of noise, right? They got a lot of familiar names on their team. I think Ari is probably the most recognizable, underclassman. And then they've got a young man committed to Clemson. I think his name's Fred Johnson. And then, they got a handful of other dudes. So it was a fun game to watch. Honestly, I went in, I'm thinking, Highland Springs, they beat them in the state championship last year. Thought they were going to repeat and kind of do it all over again. And, when the game got playing, things changed, right? And then we talk about special teams a lot. I try to mention special teams on the regular, and sure enough, we got some special teams, man. So I'm going to play the highlight reel, and then we're going to talk about the player of the week. But let's get to the highlight reel that does include, and I repeat, does include special teams. So hopefully you enjoy, and we'll get back to that in a second, if I can find it. Oh no, did I not pull it up? Put myself on the spot. That's my fault. We're gonna do it right now. Here we go.
Spotlight 49.
Look, we calling audibles. Let's do it right now. Bang. And again, I'm not sure if the audio is popping here. So let me check the audio settings just to make sure we can talk. Yeah, the movies. So they should hear us. But these were some of the highlights that came out of the game. There was just studs and a couple of studs that I wasn't even familiar with. So the quarterback, right? I don't even want to butcher his name. We'll get to that in a second. But he was making moves, man. He had a big day, both throwing the ball, running the ball. He was finding the open receiver. The receiver, as you just seen, making plays, which was a lot of fun. I think I threw the reel up there. He hit the Madden spin move, right? But Highland Springs, they were no pushover, right? Defending state champs. They came to ball, and they were able to get after the quarterback. They were able to put up some big plays, couple of touchdowns. There's the Clemson commit. Not Clemson. Is he Clemson? Might be South Carolina. I got to double check my notes. That's my fault. But yeah, he plays both sides of the ball. Special teams, bang, right there. Literally, bang.
Yeah, he hit for sure. And they lost the ball, looks like.
Yeah. And that right there was a big momentum shift in the game, because it felt like Highland Springs was making a little noise. They came back. Special teams got them. But this is another young man that we got to see earlier in the season when Highland Springs played Miramar. Eric Bird, I believe is his name, the running back, 25, if I'm not mistaken. Again, just had a heck of a game. Unfortunately, he did, cough one up. That was pretty costly. But, he's going to come back. He'll come back strong.
These highlights are definitely one of a kind. Give me that.
Right, don't stop.
He was not trying to get tackled.
No, sir.
Yeah, the whole game. Give me that.
I gave you about 2.5 minutes. I figure, we give you a nice little recap.
Okay, so what was happening at this point in the game, since we're recapping it?
Oh, you're going to put me on the spot. So at this point, again, a lot of the momentum has shifted. See, that was another big run right there, but a lot of momentum has shifted, and then things kind of got out of hand from there. Let me pull this off here. We do it on the fly. It got a little out of hand. Maury kept putting up points. Highland Springs just couldn't capitalize and ultimately fell short of the end goal. But I think we'll see them again later in the season. That's just my thoughts. So,
What was the final score?
I believe it was, I'd have to look at my pictures and I don't want to mess up my phone, but I think it was like 41. They beat them by like 17, I think.
Okay. Yeah, they handled them pretty well.
But with that being said, we do have to call out the player of the game. I got a million screens up here, but we're going to pull that up right here. And that's a Tory Newkirk, and I hope I'm pronouncing the name right, but he's a 25 quarterback. He's the young man doing things on both sides of the ball. So passing, he was 12 for 18, 196 yards and a TD. And then rushing, 110 yards. Not attempts, but I think I did my numbers wrong. But he had 10 rushes for 84 yards and 12 touchdowns. So I'll fix my graphic. But either or, he had a heck of a game, put on a show, and definitely, carried the team and led them to victory in a big in-state rivalry, ish style game. So shout out to Atori Newkirk, currently uncommitted.
2025 makes a little bit of sense.
2025. Yep. So 2025, and then let's see, one more thing before we get off of here. We got to pull up first sponsor, right? We can't do it without the sponsors. We got to talk about Accelerator Energy Drink. That's what the Spotlight
You doing
39.
a giveaway for that?
What's up?
Aren't you doing a giveaway for that?
We will be doing a giveaway, man. I think next week might be a good week. I think next week we're gonna do a giveaway. We'll give away some Accelerator energy drinks, man. So make sure you stay tuned. We'll give away the drink. We'll do the details further in the week, closer to next week's show. So make sure you stay tapped in for that. And then I got to shout out somebody super special, and then we're gonna get into our first segment. But the first Drip Kings, right? I don't know if you can see it, but Drip Kings on Instagram. Make sure you follow them. They blessed me with this beautiful cup. Let me pull it up a little bit, he said. But they blessed me with this beautiful cup. It's got the foundation on it. It's got the Spotlight 39 logo. So I appreciate Drip Kings out in California. They hooked up the Bosco team. They showed love to Spotlight 39. They hooked me up. I think I've done enough talking, Brandon. Is there anything that you want to chime in on before we bring on Coach E with the DMV Spotlight?
I mean, whenever he comes on, there's always that energy. There's always that pulse. I think me and you are in the thick of this football season, and there's no time better than now, right? And it seems like it's going pretty quickly. Heck, I mean, we're in week 4 now. But at the end of the day, you just have to enjoy it and take it all with a grain of salt. So I'm excited for his segment, and excited for what the show has to offer today.
Good deal, man. So with that being said, we're going to bring on the DMV Spotlight with Coach E. But first, a word from one of our sponsors.
My name is Jonathan Cabral Martin, and I'm a Division I football player. When you're playing at a high level, grip and ball control are essential elements of the game. As the game gets more intense, defenses get better and defensive players hit harder. As a skill player, ball security is a must. At the end of the day, it's your job to not put the ball on the ground. I use sleeves from Lizard Tech because they give me an edge on the field. If you're gonna wear a sleeve, why not wear one that's engineered for grip? This sleeve is made to provide grip unlike anything you've ever seen before. As soon as I tuck the ball away, I can feel the difference with these sleeves. The confidence this sleeve gives you on the field is unreal. It doesn't matter if I'm catching passes, receiving handoffs, or catching punts. With this sleeve, your confidence will be unmatched. Stop dropping the ball and grab more with Lizard Tech.
Lizard Tech. Make sure you check them out on social media. They got the grip that you need. All right, so without further ado, we got my guy, Coach E, with the DMV Spotlight. He's got a couple of guys that he wants to talk about. So, E, can you hear us?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear, man. Loud and clear. So, welcome back. We had a lot of fun, man. We're going to continue to do this thing, talk about them kids in the DMV. So, who do we want to start off with? You gave me 2 kids. I think right now I got Andrew playing up on the screen. So, let's start with him if that's cool with you.
Most definitely. So, we got Andrew King, running back, class of 24, Flint Hill High School out here in Virginia. Quite frankly, the best comparison I can give you is honestly Darren Sproles. I mean, he's that type of guy.
Hold up. Darren Sproles, look, that's a comparison now. Sproles did big things during his career.
Oh, I know. Trust me, I know. And here's why.
Major statement.
No, so he's a Richmond commit, University of Richmond.
Okay.
He is a legit 4.4 guy, super fast, super elusive, incredible contact balance, which is what you want to see out of Division I running back. But his ability out of the backfield, catching the football and running routes, is special for a high school running back. And another interesting thing about him is he's the 3rd strongest kid on Flint Hill behind 2 linemen. And yes, I said that correctly. Coach P told me personally, he said, Andrew King is the 3rd strongest kid on the team behind 2 linemen.
That's crazy.
So when you're running a 4.4 with that type of strength and you can run routes the way that you do, I mean, he's a special type of player, special running back, and he's going to do big things at Richmond. I think Richmond got a steal. I easily thought that this kid could have gone to a G5 program and showed out. But it's just the way that the running back position is. You know, it's a saturated position, and guys like him, unfortunately, get pushed down the board a little bit.
Yeah, man. I even saw a tweet earlier talking about, is the running back position dead, or colleges not recruiting the position as, hard as they once did. And, just the future of the running back as a whole is being questioned. And it's like, that's crazy to even think, man, because you got to run heavy offense. You need that running back. So I don't know. This dude put on a show. I was at this Woodbury game personally. I got to learn a lot about the Flint Hill program as a whole. And again, seeing the game through my lens while I'm filming is a whole lot different than watching the film afterwards, man. This dude, he played ball. I mean, he went off as we're watching right now. So what else you got about this young man, E, before we jump into the next one?
I was a little disappointed to not see him get an invite to the Under Armour camp. I really thought that could have been an opportunity for him to show what he can do. But it's
How are you disappointed?
It's unfortunately how the position goes. I don't think the position's dead, because I do think it's an incredibly difficult position to play, and it really is an art form. What running backs are asked to do and what a lot of them are capable of doing. But I do think that the position has evolved in a sense to where a lot of schools are looking for, more specialized players. So, ways that you can separate yourself is catch the ball out of the backfield, or if you're, a bigger back that can pass protect, they're looking for those types of guys. So it's become more of a committee. Teams are looking for third down backs, special teamers, the 3-down workhorse has that's kind of moved away from college football a little bit. But if you can specialize in a specific skill set, like being able to catch the ball and make plays like that, I think that there's a spot for you on a college roster, particularly at the Division I level.
Yeah, man, he's going to have his moment. He's going to get to shine. At the University of Richmond, he gets to stay home, stay local, and put on a show. So that is Andrew King, University of Richmond commit from Flint Hill. So next up, you gave me another young man. And what's that young man's name?
So this is a kid that people probably aren't going to know. His name is Rob Stewart, and he's a defensive back at St. John's in D.C. And you would think that being at such a program, schools would know who he is. But unfortunately, due to how deep St. John's secondary has been over the last 2 seasons, he's been pushed down the depth chart. And that's not because he can't play. It's just because they've had so much talent at the defensive back spot that he just hasn't been able to see much of the field outside of special teams. But this season, he's actually starting, and they're moving him all over the field. He's played outside corner, safety, slot corner. He's got good size at 6 foot 180. He can run. I think the kid's probably a legit 4'5", mid 4'5" type of guy. Amazing special teamer. He plays gunner. And I think that he's going to really have a good year this year now that he's moved up in the rotation. He can play man. He can play zone. He can play off. He can play press. And, he's just a piece that you can move all over the secondary. And I don't think he has any film up yet of this season. But once he gets that up, I think schools are going to start to see, what this kid can really do.
Okay. So I'm going to put you on the spot. What, if anything, did you see from him when we were down in South Florida against American Heritage?
So American Heritage, number one, their receivers are insane, to say the least. I saw some things where the whole secondary seemed like they got, shot in the mouth, like hit in the face by what they were going up against. But I saw him, make a few plays. He made some tackles in the open field. He was able to run in phase with the receivers, but sometimes I think he needs to work on finding the ball a little bit better. That's one thing that I saw in his film last season, now rolling over into this season. But, I think that they're, those guys are going to get it together. It seems like every year St. John's, they start out a little rough, but then they end up picking it back up towards the end of the year and winning back-to-back WCAC championships. So
Yeah, and I think he's probably in good hands, right? He's got a coach that some might know who it is, right?
Oh yeah, no, Coach Sellis is one of the best in the DMV. He's gonna get them right.
Yes, sir, man. So is there anything else that you want to chime in about either of these dudes before we jump into that West Virginia spotlight?
So Andrew's committed already, but I will say Rob, I don't believe has any offers on the table right now.
Okay.
I think he is an FCS type of guy. So for any FCS, defensive back coaches that are looking for a corner that has good speed and decent length, I think he's a guy to check out. I think as the season goes on, he's only going to continue to get better. Being behind those types of guys has made him better. And, I look forward to seeing what he does the rest of the season. Andrew's going to do what he does. Andrew's just an all-around gamer.
Yeah, no, he put on a show for sure, man. And I get to see, I think I have Mr. Stewart at least one more, but I think two more times for the rest of the season. So I'll get some more insight on that young man in the near weeks. But let's do this, man. We're going to jump into that West Virginia spotlight with Coach Gordon. We're going to talk about two dudes that you probably have no idea who they are until tonight, and that's the exciting part about what we're doing. So before we get into
that heat last week for sure. I mean, the kid had 12 touchdowns, 11 touchdowns, some ridiculous number. So,
look, man,
definitely.
He brought out some dude, some dude from the mountains putting on a show. I like it. So let's do this. We're going to get into that segment, but before we do, let's get a word from one of our sponsors. This is Hydro Jug, and then we got the West Virginia Spotlight.
I'm always looking for ways to get an edge over my competition. My secret? Drinking enough water. Not only does drinking water help me feel stronger, faster, and more agile, I know that when I'm hydrated, I can recover faster and always be able to perform at my best. Hydro Jug is perfect for my busy lifestyle because it is easy to carry and is built to last through my toughest workouts. Wanting to take your performance to the next level? Get a Hydro Jug.
I think he went like 20, 25 yards, really set them up. So I said just the versatility and just his speed. He's probably about 170, maybe 6 foot. But I said he has the speed, the burst, the vision. He usually doesn't play running back, especially being only 170, 165, 170. He really ran between the tackles. He stuck his nose up there. He ran for they ran a try play. I think he had like a 25, 30-yard game right up the middle. Bounced off a few guys, kept running hard. So I definitely wanted to give that to him just because, seeing his progression from the last few years, he was always that guy, but he was very timid. Now he's embracing pretty much anything they give to him. So I said they threw him in the last minute in the line, like, hey, we're gonna put you a running back. He's like, cool, you know what I mean? And he really excelled at it. So
I like it. I like it. So right now we're watching the highlights. Is Robert or Rob? Is he on Morgantown or is he on the other team?
yeah, he goes to Morgantown High School. He's a 2024.
So 2024 senior. You said full ride to VMI in a PWO to where?
WVU.
Okay.
Yeah, went to a camp and got the PWO from WVU. So
Okay. So let's switch gears, man. Let's jump to the opposite side of the things, right? Let's bring up Troy, and I'm gonna let you say his last name.
So it's Wollaston. It's Troy Wollaston. So he 2024. Honestly, I consider him an athlete. He plays DN and tight end. He actually just picked up a PWO from WVU as well about 2 days ago, I think it was. He's probably about 6'4", maybe like 200 pounds, 205. He moves really well. The thing I like about him is his motor. They asked him to do a lot of different things, which you guys could probably see on film. You know, he's rushing the passer, then he comes back on. They put him at tight end. They put him in the slot. They asked him to block. You know, they asked him to do a lot of different things with being the size that he's at. And just with him being, you know, the best athlete that he is, you know, he really excels at doing the little things. I think he had 2 sacks. I know he definitely had a sack. Might have been a sack and a half against Morgantown, and they don't throw the ball as frequently. So with him, you know, like I said, having the tackles for loss and the few sacks that he did, playing a team that likes to run the ball, you know, a lot between the tackles, I thought he did really well. He caught the ball a few times, made a few guys miss for being as big as he is. Like I said, I'm not sure what WVU offered him as. I don't know if it was for DN or tight end. I'll have to shoot him a test and ask him. But like I said, he definitely showed, he flashed really well. I hadn't really seen him live up until that point. That was my first time ever seeing him live. Like I said, they lost the game, but I thought he did really, really well. He played all 4 quarters, didn't give up. Like I said, put his body on the line. They put him out there. They put him one-on-one out there playing tight end. He went against a corner and almost made a great catch. Just the ball placement. But like I said, he's a freak athlete. You know, the kid's jumping out the gym huge as well. So he definitely flashed in front of me, and I could see the potential with him. I just think he needs to hit the right program.
I'm with it. So anything else that you want to talk about, get off your chest in that West Virginia space, man? Because look, I ain't even gonna lie, most people tapped in or that's gonna listen or watch the replay probably don't know much about West Virginia, and I'm gonna give you another minute or two just to shout somebody out that might be deserving.
Oh, for sure. I gotta go back. So I actually, we were talking about him earlier. I had a 14-year-old kid he accounted for 6 touchdowns in a quarter. 2 of them got called back. I saw the flags. I watched the film. You know what I mean? It is what it is. It's going to happen when you play an away game, especially out of state. He had in 1 quarter, he had 6 touchdowns. So definitely going to probably be talking about him a lot more. I'm really high on the kid. I haven't seen anything like him at 14. He's about 6'1", almost 6'2", like 170. Throws the ball different. Like I said, he reads the RPO well. Out in Hedgesville, his name's Chaz Milburn. Like I said, still developing. I don't think the kid doesn't turn 15 for another few months, so he's definitely going to be on the radar for a lot of teams for the next few years. I already have him, and I know Prep Red Zone, when they came out to my camp, they have missed. I think he's the number 1 QB in 2027. Just a gifted kid. I'm really excited to see him develop and just keep going. But like I said, with him, he came in the game in the second quarter, threw for that many, and just counted for that many. He actually rushed for 2, and they got called back. Like I said, just seeing that, I was like, okay, like this kid, he's very legit. Another one that I saw, and like we talked about, Deron Parks, he just got rated 4 stars. He picked up a Tennessee offer. He's been dominant all year, which is great.
Look. We got to talk about Doodles, man. Doodles got the Bama offer. I think he picked up the Ohio State. He got Tennessee. He got Florida.
I mean, he's got everything. He's pretty much got every. He's gonna have every offer.
He's going to decide which quarterback he wants to protect. For his college career at whatever college, because I mean he's just a special talent. I got to witness that at your camp back in June. So good stuff there. So I know we could go on and on and on, about West Virginia, man, but we're gonna pause it here. I'm gonna save some of that spice for next week, so you can bring it back out. Sure. We're gonna get some more dudes on the map. But it looks like Mike and or RL with the 2-0 spotlight, they may not be able to join. So I'm gonna kick it back to me and Brandon, so we can wrap this thing and get on to next week, man. So, Brandon, I've done a whole lot of talking, man. Talk to me. What do we get to look forward to this week? Maybe not tell us where you're gonna go. What are some things that you're looking forward to seeing?
Funny is everybody thinks I'm very secretive with my schedule. Then I am, and it's paid dividends for me. But I could probably, have more dividends if I just put it out. But, suddenly other people would show up to those games too, weirdly enough.
How about that?
No, I have the ESPN game this weekend, Spanish Fort versus Saraland. So you'll see Ryan Williams, 5-star receiver,
Yep.
Texas commit AJ Lacey, new Alabama commit Antonio Coleman. I think he's have a strong opportunity to push for 5 stars. And then on the other side, Spanish Fort has Sterling Dixon, and a whole slew of guys who are kind of a little bit under the radar. They have a defensive end who's committed to Louisville as well. So it should be a jam-packed game. If ESPN's showing up, it's probably typically not a bad setting.
Yeah, you
Tomorrow,
had to deal with 3 of those.
yeah, no big deal. But I'm going to get clips. Like, they ain't whatever. And then, you got clips though too, so I'm not tripping.
Hey, look, get in where you fit in.
Hey, I'm getting clips if I'm going. So, that, and then Woodlawn and Mountain Brook tomorrow.
Okay.
Mountain Brook has like a unique offense. Both Alabama teams, both based in Birmingham. And this will be like kind of a stretch of like 2 more weeks where I'm in Alabama, and then kind of starts the national slate. So, excited to see some talent out there. Switching over to getting some headshots and getting active.
I like it, man. I like it. So for me, I'm going to kick it out to Fairfax County High School tomorrow. They play South County, if I'm not mistaken. So on paper, it's probably not a big matchup, but I'm going there to see a familiar name and face University of Georgia commit Chris Jones, formerly in Mountain View here in Stafford. Family relocated up north. So I figured I'm going to go grab a game of his. So that's where I'm going to be tomorrow night. And then Friday, I'm going to stay local. I'm going to get Eastern View from Culpeper and Brook Point here in Stafford, Fredericksburg area. So, it's going to be a great opportunity to give some kids, a chance to make a name for themselves in front of the big camera and, see what we come back next week with the players of the week, right?
Yeah, no doubt. I'm excited to get out there and, watch some games and really highlight some of these players of the week as we finish this week, as we lead into next week. We have some guys who are really balling out of control out there. So, we're getting to see them firsthand and see them in action, and it's just exciting times.
That it is, man. Any closing remarks that you got, pressing on your mind that you just want to throw out there? Do we want to mention, throw a nugget out there on some of these rankings that just came out from Rivals today? Do we want to save that for another time? You tell me, because technically we got an extra few minutes if you want to do it.
I think the rankings are definitely a touchy subject. I'm getting text about things about the rankings because obviously people are not happy about them, or people are really happy about them. So, I'm going to let it play out right now, and then we'll come back to it next week when things have died down.
All right, so we'll leave that a TBD, and we'll have conversation, and we'll have some fun conversation next week. So, all that being said, we want to thank you for tapping in. Spotlight 39 Live with Rob and Brandon. We do this thing each and every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we spotlight, the games that we cover. We spotlight some players in very different areas, such as the DMV with Coach E. We go all the way out to West Virginia, which we've learned a lot in just the last 2 weeks from West Virginia. Boy, that's exciting, with Coach Gordon. And then, hopefully we'll have Mike and or RL back next week for the 210 exposure spotlight out there. But look, that's what we do, man. We want to help the kids, gain that extra piece of exposure, get their names out there. Some names some names you don't. That's the beauty of this thing. So make sure you check out the website, spotlight39.com. It's got all the game coverage. It's got tons of featured articles and interviews. And then more importantly, it's got the 39 Hearts Foundation, which is the reason why we do everything here at Spotlight 39. Every strong athlete needs a strong heart. So make sure you check out the why. It's bigger than football. You'll understand. I appreciate it. Until next week, I'm Rob. That's Brandon. Spotlight 39 Live. Follow us on social media. We appreciate y'all.
Do that. That's super important, that social media stuff.
That social media stuff's super important. And I'm going to try to find
Sounds
the
good.
intro, and I can't find it.